Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Oh, welcome everyone. We've got episode 463 of the Massenomics podcast today. We are the lifting podcast about nothing, recorded live from the corners of the Dakotas. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
463, you know what that means.
463, yeah.
Yeah, damn look fine. Give it to me one more time.
Just like that.
It means that this episode is brought to you by Build Fast Formula Supplements. You can check them out at buildfastformula.com. Go look at their collection of supplements. They've got Vaso Blitz, Full Blitz. I like to take a scoop of each together. One's the caffeinated pre-workout. Yeah, a little mix and match. Actually, Sunday, I had to lift Sunday evening this week.
Oh, I saw that. I didn't know if that was real or just got posted late.
No, that I had to work at lift Sunday evening because of 1,000 other things with everything going on. And needed to get a lift in a bad way, so that was the only time I could go. And so I just took some Vaso Blitz because it's a non-caffeinated pre-workout formula, and I had a pretty good lift. I didn't want to take caffeine at 6:30 p.m. for obvious reasons, but I still wanted something. If nothing else, it's part of the ritual for me of just being able to have a little something like this signifies, okay, I go to the gym now.
A little something working through the system.
Yeah, it was the perfect Vaso Blitz utilization there. Also, 80-20 protein, another personal favorite of mine. Take it every morning. Best part, you can save 10% on Build Fast Formula with discount code Massenomics? Yeah, it's 69% even. With every order that you buy from them, discount code Massenomics. Thank you.
And this episode is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Now, I want you to play along with me here. We're going to do a little imagination time. So picture this. You're on the Texas Power Bars website. You've picked out the perfect bar for your home gym. It's probably like a Texas deadlift bar with red Cerakote and chrome sleeves. Or you might have even went with like the 29 millimeter Texas Power Bar, a black zinc shaft, chrome sleeves. Again, just the perfect bar for your home gym. And you go to the checkout page and you're about to buy it. And you're like, wait a minute. It's not charging me shipping. Is this my lucky day? And you are absolutely right. It is your lucky day, and it's not charging you shipping because right now, for a limited time, free shipping on all bars over at TexasPowerBars.com. And if you're like me and you live in eastern Southeast South Dakota, a Texas deadlift bar, shipping on that thing can be around $50-ish. I would imagine other parts of the country are probably somewhat similar. So depending on your bar, this could be some pretty significant savings on your cart. So take advantage of this deal. No discount code needed. Just throw the item in your cart, go to checkout, and you will take advantage of those savings. Thank you, Texas Power Bars.
Shout out this week to all of our live listeners. If you're a supporting member, you can choose to listen live. We got several people in the live chat this week. So love to see the live listeners catching this. This one's almost a week before this comes out live. So by the time normal people are listening to this these people are going to be like, that's old news. I barely can remember that podcast. I heard it so long ago.
Actually, it's kind of weird to think about is that the actual episode for this week just came out yesterday. And here we are recording the next one already.
Yeah.
We're on it.
It's a paradox. Time is a flat circle. Time is, yes, they do. Yes, they do be in a flat circle.
I think that's how they originally wrote the line. He probably improvised it to that. They're like, no, actually, that doesn't work here.
We have so many damn things to talk about this week. It is absolute. This is going to be pandemonium.
It's just mayhem in the to-do list over here. It's crazy.
We might as well title this episode the Royal Rumble because there's so many topics coming in from
I mean, it looks like someone said, Chat GPT, write 12 random words in the to-do list, and that's just what it looks like, because these things
I
are
even just
hardly
wrote down Chat GPT as a topic, sort of a topic. The longer we talk, the more topics I'm going to think of here. And the longer we talk, I'm just going to not talk about the topics. I'm going to talk about how many topics there are.
It's a topic episode.
Topic number 1, talking about how many topics we have to discuss this week.
It's one of our favorite pastimes.
Check. I do think we should cover the Super Bowl, if anything. That first of all, what was your watching experience? Did you watch the entire Super Bowl? Did you see?
We went over to a friend's house, and there was a few other people there, and no one was like a big time football fan, and so it was a very casual viewing experience. As in, there was a lot of conversation going on. And also our kids were there, and they have kids too. So the kids there was a lot of distractions, but it didn't really even matter how close you paid attention, because you quickly realize like, yeah, there's just not even a lot to pay attention to in this game here.
Yeah. What about I guess my thing is I actually don't know if I think I saw a play of the game is the most. I was gone lifting during the beginning of it. I threw on my Donovan McNabb jersey and went to the gym.
I saw that. Is that what that was?
Yeah, okay. That's an old Donovan. I traded it like almost 20 years ago. I traded it from Darren from the gym for a Menards polo. I gave him a Menards polo, and he gave me the Donovan McNabb jersey. And every year they make it to the Super Bowl, which happens occasionally, I throw that jersey on.
Yeah, I'm not sure who actually came out ahead in that trade there. It's
for me, I was the clear winner because I had a
right,
closet
at the time,
full of Menards polos.
Yeah.
But now I just wish I had one of those damn Menards polos
just
back.
A classic.
I gave them all away.
This is actually probably the least amount of commercials I can say I've actually saw the Super Bowl in recent memory. I can't even really hardly comment, because like once the game was off, and I wasn't even paying that close attention to the game. Once the game was off, I was distracted with kids, conversation, other stuff. So I just have like almost nothing to add to that, to the commercial talk.
There in the live chat, they were talking about you being quiet, but will that just be, is that just a live chat thing? Then it probably won't be an actual recording.
I just bumped it up a little bit. Maybe that's a little better.
Right. Get on my level.
But I was actually really close to the thing, so I don't know.
Okay. Who knows?
All sounds the same to me.
Hard saying, not knowing. Like I said, I didn't want. Then I was packing orders, because I was gone for the most of the weekend. So Sunday night was actually my chance to pack orders, and I had quite a few to pack, which is always a good thing. So I was doing that. I did come out to watch. So I didn't really see any commercials. I didn't see any of the game, and my one take on commercials is I think that's just dead.
It feels
that's
like
just not a thing anymore.
This is what it is. Okay. There's two things. First, I remember a comedian that I would listen to his podcast be like, oh, they're hyping up the Super Bowl commercials. Like, oh yeah, we did the craziest thing. He's like, isn't that like you admitting that you don't try that hard on your commercials the rest of the year? That like now is when we're doing the really good one. Like all year.
Now we're going to get our creative minds together.
Yeah, now we're putting our best and brightest on it. The rest of the year, we kind of phoned it in, but this is when we're doing it. So there's also there's that component to it, but what it started to feel more and more like is it's just, all right, what cameos can we pop into commercials? And already, all right, ads are just mostly, all right, let's pay this famous person to do whatever, and that's all social media is. That's all so much of TV commercial is. That, all right, it's not even like that cool to see Matthew McConaughey in a commercial anymore because he's in 10,000 other things already. So I think it's just losing.
Yes, they do.
And maybe this is a guy that's like, I don't know, skeptical or sort of in that field. And so I'm just skeptical of a lot of things anyways. But yeah, I think it's losing a little bit of its luster.
I think it's lost. The other thing I know I've made this comment probably at least a handful of years that we've mentioned the Super Bowl. People love to complain about whatever the halftime act is. It literally doesn't matter if it's just every year. It's just a joke to me at this point about the complaining about the halftime act. Like you just know it's coming. It's like, and people are like, I haven't made a post on Facebook in 6 months. Now it's time for everyone to hear my hot take on how the halftime
it's like
show
the groundhog
sucked.
coming out to see his shadow for his annual thing. Yeah, that's exactly the same thing. I saw so much of that too. I'm like, I didn't even know we were friends in Facebook. And this is where out of all of the things happening in the world all the time, this is where like I must take a stand here. The world has gone too far.
Yeah. And we just kind of maybe humorously, we just did an episode about music, and it really just shows there's no act that people are going to like even remotely agree on.
Oh God,
because everyone's music taste is so much different.
No, not a chance. And so I'll go on the record and say, like, I enjoy Kendrick Lamar. I've been a fan of him since Good Kid, Mad City, like 2012 or 2013. When that album came out, I'm like, this is the best thing ever. I will admit, in recent years, I haven't kept up with him as much because I just haven't kept up with anyone much musically. Right. Like, with everything going on, life is kind of hard there. But as a Kendrick Lamar fan, I enjoyed it a lot. Things that surprised me was that he almost exclusively stuck to like his very newest album. I thought for sure. Yeah,
I kind of disliked. I mean, I liked overall it was good, just fine. But I kind of disliked. I'm like, why didn't you play some of the older stuff?
That's what surprised me, and I'm like, okay, but I guess maybe he's making a point, doing whatever. That's fine. You're the performer. You know what? I'm not a musical performer. So you know what? Yes. When you're up there, you get to do whatever you want, and I'm just gonna sit there and take it in. Like that is how I take this whole thing. Is you're the one putting on a show. You want to know how to put on a great musical show? You don't ask me. And for that matter, actually, don't ask any of my friends. You know why? They're not musicians or performers or entertainers. So they're not going to be good people to do that. Like that's my approach on that. But I thought it was entertaining. And yeah, you just know that 50% of people are going to hate it, if not more. And then I see all the things of, it should have been this person. It should have been this person. And my first thought is like, I see people's suggestions like, those sound god awful. But I'm like, it's the same thing of like, nope, you're never going to find anyone that people even remotely agree on.
I like a couple notes I have. A lot of people are like, doesn't hold a candle to Prince Purple Rain in the Rain. I'm like, yeah, what does? Like, okay, you're picking out the couple of the, like that. He is one example.
To me, that's the pinnacle. That is the pinnacle right there.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're picking the best one. Of course, it's not as good as that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like obviously, like it'd be like, well, this isn't near as good as the Super Bowl when it went down to Tom Brady's first one and they kicked a field goal at the final seconds to win it. Yeah, you're picking like the best, comparing it to the best ones ever. Like, of course, it's not. Maybe Prince is almost universally liked, especially in hindsight and stuff. And that's few and far between to find a musical artist like that, so that's not gonna happen. And then the other thing I thought was just really funny because I watched it with Jack, my 13-year-old, and he liked it and he kind of likes Kendrick Lamar. And I asked him like afterward, what'd you think? And he's like, it was really good. And he was excited about who is it? SZA.
Yep, SZA. And I'm a big SZA fan, so I love seeing SZA out there. Definitely lip syncing though on her part, so it's whatever.
But it's not. I mean, that's
what the Super Bowl kind of does, though.
Right?
Yeah.
And I told him afterwards, he was like, "Oh, geez, you liked it. I see a lot of people on my internet are really complaining about it." And he goes, "Like, what? Why?" And I'm like, "I don't know. It's a bunch of
I said it's so cute."
I said it's a bunch of old people that don't like that kind of music. And he's like, who do they want that would, this is his exact words, who would they want that would be better? Bruce Springsteen? And I've laughed and I'm like, yes, you are exactly right. I'm like, Bruce Springsteen would suck to me. Like if they had,
actually, Bruce Springsteen was on the TV in the hotel and
it was the worst thing.
He was doing a live performance and you go, oh my God, if I paid money to this, he's not even singing the songs. I'd be a fan. I 100% agree with you. It was like the worst live performance I'd ever seen.
It was absolutely terrible. And I just laughed. I laughed out loud when he said that to me because I'm like, yeah, you nailed it. That is exactly right.
That was good. Yeah. I saw a lot of comments. It's perfect when you live in South Dakota because you get like just the most generic Facebook complaints about it.
Yeah.
And a lot of them couldn't understand the thing he was saying. And it's like, well, part of that isn't on him because it was just how whoever is in charge of the audio, the levels for the voice. I could turn my voice way down. Oh, you can't hear me. You can't hear me here. I could so he's not the one controlling the volume on that. And then also, I get it. He's not from South Dakota. He doesn't sound like you. But then there was one meme I saw.
Or you probably just don't like rap music.
Well, because then there was another
like,
meme
that's
I
what
saw.
you're telling me.
It was
like
Kendrick Lamar at the halftime show couldn't understand a thing. And then it's like, and also white people. And it's playing a clip of Pearl Jam. And I'm like, that. Or any metal music or anything. It's like, the clarity with which I can hear the vocals is like maybe number 12 on the list for how I grade a song. You know,
like when you say that, that just tells me you don't like that style of music. Is when you make it's the classic. It all sounds the same to me. And I get the logic because I say that, but I don't really complain that much about any of the halftime music because I think it's way lamer to it's way lamer to complain about because someone's always going to complain about it.
And this is one I don't know. I'm sure you could dig into this and find an exact answer. We're approaching our mid-30s, our 40s. There's listeners of this that are older than that. I'm not sure we're like the prime demo that the NFL's going after anymore.
True.
It's
That's
they already
point.
got their old people. You're either in or you're out.
Right.
If you're 50 and you don't watch the NFL, you're probably not going to start watching it. But what they're really going after is those young fans to keep new people coming in. And you know what doesn't get young new people excited? Bruce Springsteen at the halftime show. You know what does get
Bring
young
out
people?
the boss.
Yeah. You know what gets young men and women and people that are impressionable excited? Kendrick Lamar. That's what gets people excited. So I 100% get it. I don't blame them at all for going with him.
Any other final note? It was quite the ass kicking from what I saw, but
it just wasn't really good. I just didn't really pay that close attention. It just wasn't a very good game.
Yep.
Northeast South Dakota native with a Super Bowl ring now, though.
Yeah, that's good. Been to the zoo bar before, we know that.
That's right.
Can verify.
Yes,
the police reports will verify he's been to the zoo bar before.
It's been documented.
All right, enough about the Super Bowl then?
I think so.
Probably too much about the Super Bowl, if you ask me.
Now what? Trade talk should start, in a month or so here, a couple weeks?
I guess.
And we're right back to it.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of that, trade talk, what do you think of this Lakers trade? You're a little more in tune with the NBA than me.
Well, I just went to a game this weekend, too, and so there was some buzz. There was buzz about it with the fans there, even, because it was very current. Yeah, there was buzz in the air. Also, we showed up to the game almost 2 hours early, and the line was out the door already.
It was really? Just because of the bobblehead thing? Or
Yes. Because it was Nas Reed night.
I don't think you told on the podcast. It was Nas Reed night, which meant free Nas Reed bobbleheads and a Nas Reed towel, or?
Well, you had to spend a certain amount of money to get the Nas Reed towel, but the Nas Reed towel was like 80% of the reason we even were going. I mean, I'm joking, but like the Nas Reed towel was a big target on us.
For people that don't know, Nas Reed, who is the sixth man for the Timberwolves.
He's the cult.
Has reached like
super
full-on,
favorite.
Cult meme status in the Twin Cities. Like you can drive in and there's Nas Reed signs, there's Nas Reed billboards, there's Nas Reed signs hanging off of buildings.
When you go to the game, like half the signs that people are holding up say something about. Everyone says two words, Nas Reed, and that sort of thing. Nas Reed for president. The Wizard of Nas. There's all this stuff about Nas Reed, and he is really likable, honestly. Like there's nothing like he's really cool. He's got a little bit of an aura about him, and he seems somewhat nonchalant at times, but also like passionate about the game at the same time.
But he's good too.
So
he is good.
He's really good.
That's the thing.
He is underrated. He is the epitome of I mean, the fact that he comes off the bench is kind of like, I mean, he didn't for this game because a bunch of people weren't playing, but yeah, so we went because it was Nas Reed bobblehead night and Nas Reed towel night. And I'm like, oh yeah, we're going to get there way early. We'll be like first in line. I'm like, holy crap. Are we even going to make it in the door? People must have been here 4 hours early.
So it was lined up down the block basically.
Yes. I mean, it was crazy. It was actually, I was like, we've gone at that time before. Like the door didn't even open until an hour and a half before tip off. And we were there 45 minutes before that.
Wow.
Before the door even opened.
Yeah, you did secure your bobblehead though?
We got 2 bobbleheads, and it was funny the way the process worked. I'm like, Jack, we could like go set these down in our seats. I'm pretty sure we could come back and get more bobbleheads. He's like, yeah, we probably could. I'm like, nah, we won't do that, but we could do that if we.
The option's
If
there.
if I was a younger man, I would go do that just for the sake of doing it. I'm like, I'll let the other people get theirs now as a mature adult, but part of me wants to work the system like that still.
Yeah, really get your money's worth.
It was funny then as soon as we left the game, there was already a bunch of people posted up outside bidding on your bobble. Like you could have sold your bobbleheads just leaving the door right away. Like people were there buying bobbleheads.
Yeah, God, that's got to be a big night for them. Yeah, I haven't, because there can't be too many bobblehead nights, right?
I don't think there's many players that get that, honestly.
I got a Ricky Rubio bobblehead.
We have that one too.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. You didn't give me yours, did you?
Maybe when I moved.
Okay, because we do have one of those. You might have given me yours.
Maybe I did.
You in fact do not have a Ricky Rubio bobblehead.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely don't have it anymore.
Jack has a Ricky Rubio bobblehead.
Where did that go? Actually, I haven't seen that thing in years. Yeah, maybe I brought it to the gym or told you about it and you just took it. Or I bet we were probably podcasting one night. It was in my old house, and I bet I was like, "Do you want this stuff?" I think there was like some beer signs and stuff too. That's probably what it was.
I knew because Nas Reed is right next to Ricky Rubio.
Yeah.
We actually just had the
really
conversation. Jack was like, was Ricky Rubio good? I'm like, yeah, actually he was pretty good for a short period of time.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Okay, so all right, just a quick question though.
The trade.
Well,
the trade.
Actually, before we can get there, because now I forgot we were even talking about that. In true fashion for you going to a game, starters are sitting out and you don't get to see Ant
all the freaking time. Luckily, we've gotten to watch Ant like 4 times.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The plus was that it meant Nas Reed started, and he lit it, and he had a great game. And they had they were down by like 15 points.
I was looking at the box score. Yeah, it looked like the fourth quarter made it a really good game.
It was an awesome game. Like the place was sold out, and it got. I mean, I went to a playoff game that they won last year. That was probably the coolest, but it couldn't have been a better game in terms of like I mean, everyone was jumping out of their seats, like standing up, yelling. It was really cool. It was worth the price of admission. You know, I left and I'm like, okay, that was sweet. Because sometimes those experiences are a little underwhelming.
They definitely kept.
Dang it!
Like ours, the game we went to 2 weeks ago. Like it was good and everything, and they won by 30, but they were just up by 20 the entire game. So
right.
Like the excitement wasn't really there most of the time.
Right. So it ended. I was annoyed by that, admittedly, but then at least they're all still there, so you get to see them. Like it's also interesting to see like, oh, what are they doing all on the because there's what are they doing over there? And there's a rapper there too. You would know. It
Kendrick Lamar.
No, it was less. I promise you would know who it is, but the name didn't mean anything to me. The rap music all sounds the same to me, quite honestly. But the Lakers they traded away Anthony Davis for Luka, and Anthony Davis is hurt already.
Right, he had to leave the first game he played.
He's out for like
a month, isn't he, or more, like 6 weeks, which is essentially almost the season.
Which is just by the book for him. Yeah. You know, is just so typical. And then the Lakers scored 100 points in the first 3 quarters with the first game with Luka there. Mm-hmm. But that's interesting. It's interesting, like however it ends up is whatever, but it's interesting because it was like such a secret trade.
Right, that they didn't shop him around at all. One of the biggest
arguably a top 3, not even arguably, he is a top 3 talent in the NBA, and they traded him like overnight with nobody knowing. Yeah. Like they even say LeBron didn't know, which I still like, which is crazy because the thing about LeBron is he's like
calling the
GM.
Shots.
Yeah, and like Luka didn't know, so that's kind of the interesting part. It was like this secret behind the works trade for one of the 3 best players in the league. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, cool if you're a Lakers fan.
Nothing else to add on it. Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, I feel like LeBron's going to hit the bricks pretty soon now, and it's it's set up to be Luka's team.
Sure seems like it.
Yeah. That's enough sports, isn't it? People are like, God, when are they going to quit talking about sports and start talking about something?
They haven't talked about sports in 6 weeks. This is enough. Make them stop.
They let off with NFL and NBA next. What MLB coverage can they do?
All right, college football. Who's been keeping up with the NIL deals? Let's go.
What are you drinking in? Don't. Oh, for the love of God, don't tell me you have flat water.
Oh, I got that gourmet shit over here. I was inspired after our trip to California.
Is that Kirkland's?
Big David. The Kirkland. I mean, first of all, who was ever calling the shots over at Costco, they get it. Because the Kirkland 35 pack or 36 pack of these, the flavors are lemon, lime, and pamplemousse. Like, I mean, come on. You couldn't pick a better lineup right there. And the flavors are so goddamn good on these things. I really did not think that they'd be as good as they were. Big David converted me. I got
one
back
of the Davids.
Yeah, I got back. One of the first things I had to do was go to Costco and pick up a pack of these, and I have just been impressed the whole way.
What do you give that for a rating then? Because that is that a lemon?
I mean, it's 4 all day. It might be 4.5. Yeah. It's so good.
I'm mixing it up this week a little bit. I'm going with the Nicola LaCroix.
Nicola.
Big Hogan said enough with the sports talk. Where's the weather talk? Okay, weather talk. Oh my God.
That winter finally
it
found
is cold.
us, didn't it?
Who invited this weather in?
Wait, did you guys get snow?
On Saturday last week we did.
Oh, we got snow on Saturday.
Not very much, but
we got probably 2 to 3 inches on Saturday and another 2 to 3 last night.
Oh, no, we didn't get any snow last night.
I finally fired up my snowblower for the first time today.
And this morning, my car thermometer said -22 outside.
Woo.
And
that's a
I
chilly
think
one.
the feels like was at one point in time I saw -39.
Oh, baby.
Thank God we didn't have any snow because running the snowblower in that would have been insane.
Yeah, we were not even close to that cold. I think when I went out, I think mine was like 5, and the feels like was 5. There was like no wind or anything, so 5 really isn't that bad when there's no breeze, you know.
Well, that like tonight, my daughter was even like on the way from dance. She's like, "Oh, it's not near as cold as when we got in the car this morning," and I'm just checking. It was -2, and we were remarking at how it felt nice. Like, and it legitimately did. I was like, "Oh, it's not like hurting us. That's it's not painful."
We were joking.
It was -2.
We were joking about it when we went to California. Like, oh man, 50-degree weather, and you're like, I got to get outside and have a beer. 50 degrees.
Yeah,
that is a heat wave if it ever gets there.
Absolutely. Oh my God, it's cold. And I think it's going to stick around for a few more days here before it turns the other direction. But we're already almost mid of February. It can't stick around forever.
If this was December, I'd be like, oh, man, why is this happening? The fact that it's mid-February, it's like, all right, yep, the end is near. It's fine.
Yeah. We should talk about a new contest. This is hot news. Nobody knows about this. Actually, there are a couple people that know about this, but almost nobody knows about this. This is hot, breaking, fresh out the press, brand new news. We haven't even teased it yet. There's finally going to be another Massenomics contest. It's been quite a while. It may be even since 2023 since we've had a legitimate, straight-up internet contest where anyone can get involved. Yeah,
Did we not do one last year?
Nope, there was no. I mean, we did like the lift hard. There was things people could win at, of course, the Golden PP Grip Challenge, etc., the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic, that sort of thing. But now anyone online can get involved in our newest challenge. It has been a while. For anyone that doesn't know, there's a Hall of Fame, one of the, our Hall of Fame card. If you're a supporting member, you get in a chance to get on the Hall of Fame. One of the check marks, one of the most elusive check marks on that for a lot of people is winning a contest. And in this contest, there are going to be 2 chances for people to get checked off. We're going to have 2 grand prize winners that would count towards Hall of Fame check marks. But anyone can get involved in this particular contest. You don't even have to just be a supporting member. This could be almost, I say anyone, there is one thing required for this contest, and we'll get to that. So, without further ado, Have I done enough ado, or do we need further ado before I actually
that's
say
probably
what it
the
is?
appropriate ado. We'll have plenty to add on to the backside of this.
Okay. So here's the contest. This one is going to be a drink spotter contest. And what we need you to do is show us how you use it or where you use it, or I should say or where you use it, and get creative. We want to see creative ways of how, where, when you use your drink spotter. Get creative, mix and match, do it different ways. Any of the 3 generations of drink spotters could be used. So you could use the original rack-mounted drink spotter, the magnetic drink spotter Lite, or the magnetic drink spotter XL. You can use any of them. An entry has to be submitted on your Instagram page, your main page. It can't be an Instagram story. It has to be a post on your main page. When you do that, you have to tag Massenomics and use #DrinkSpotter. And here's the thing. There's going to be 2 grand prize winners. One of them is going to be for the best photo, a still image of, how you use it, where you use it. Maybe it's what you put in it. There again, get creative. But the best image will be 1 grand prize winner. The other grand prize winner will be the best video. And our recommendation is a max for the video of 30 seconds.
And we were talking about this every second. We're not lying here. Every second you go over 30 seconds, you're drastically reducing your chance of winning, because keeping a joke going longer than 30 seconds, unless you're an expert joke writer or unless you're highly skilled at entertaining people, it's really hard to keep attention longer than 30 seconds. So
yes,
keep that in mind.
So keep that in mind as your goal. It don't have to be. It could even be shorter.
Yeah.
If you get the point across,
you can go longer than 30 seconds, but you better be delivering.
Yes. Yes. So going to be a grand prize for best image, grand prize for best video. And we probably will also pick some runners up at our discretion. It won't be a check mark on the Hall of Fame as a contest winner, but maybe some runner up prizes. But the grand prize winners, well, actually, I should have been more prepared to show this. I've got it right here, though. If you've been watching along, one of these has been sitting behind me for many weeks. Let me grab it.
And it's not obvious. I will say this. I've debated what that is multiple times, because it's right next to a red plaque.
And a red...
so show this thing off.
It's next to the red Dane trailer from Big Matthias Cash. It's the old logo because you can see the pecker on the dog. For anyone that doesn't know, they changed their logo, and Matthias had to hook up to get us the original OG logo, Dane.
Back when we used to be a proper country.
We used to be a proper freaking country when we put penises on dogs.
Our mascots had a big old dong.
We didn't pretend our dogs were these asexual creatures. It was a male dog. He had a cock on him. Back when we were a proper friggin' country, where dogs had penises. Dogs weren't running around getting sex changes. That's all a joke, but can you actually, that's so
I can guarantee you, if you go look up their Facebook post when they announce a new logo, that is almost verbatim on there.
Damn it.
I want my dog with a cock on it.
I loved that pecker. I identified with that. All right. So the grand prizes for the Drink Spotter contest are going to be these professionally read Drink Spotter XLs. What
are they? Anodized?
These are anodized. Yeah, I think these are anodized.
They're not spray painted.
They're not spray painted. Anodized aluminum in this vibrant red color here. So each of the grand prize will get one of those, along with $69 in South Dakota scratch tickets.
Woo!
That'll be the grand. Each of the 2 grand prizes,
like $1 million.
Yeah. This red is pretty sweet, though.
I'm actually really jealous. That would look really good in my gym. I don't even have one of those.
There might be. Let's see how many we actually have. There might be enough.
You know what?
Have this one.
We can just cut down the grand prize to 1. I'll take the other one. We'll simplify this.
Well, you could submit an entry.
I submit, and it's actually really good. And it's like, let's be real. I probably did win this. Just rub it in everyone's face. Best photo, Tanner won that one. Best video, Tommy won that one. Sorry, guys. Got to try harder.
Well, I'm going to say it. We are not excluded from participating.
We make the rules.
Yeah.
We're also the judges, but we do make the rules and we're the judges. So that's how it goes.
And also, you may want to listen to the Unpaid and Underrated podcast because they have the discretion. They are also going to pick one runner-up winner. They're going to pick one of their favorites. I don't know what the prizes are yet for runner-up winners. That's to be determined. But we know the grand prize winners are getting the red, very, very limited. These aren't going for sale or anything. The anodized red Drink Spotter XLs. The contest submissions can start when this episode comes out. That'll be Monday, February 17th. Don't submit until Monday, February 17th. We're not going to be scrubbing the internet for submissions until then. That's when they start, and they'll go till Sunday, February 23rd. So you get just about a 1 week window to submit, and then we're going to pick and announce the winners live when we record on February 24th. So that is a little under 2 weeks away. We'll announce those winners when we're recording. We'll announce that live on our podcast that night. Tommy,
and these rules will all be on
contest?
Instagram. You don't have to go back and listen to this 10-minute segment. We will have.
You don't have to take feverish notes on this.
we will have a
what did he say about the dates? Talk slower.
Wait, we can win or they're going to win.
Yeah. So hopefully get the creative juices going. Get out there and compete. There's no limit of submissions. You can submit as many times as you want to. You can submit both for the photo and the video. What other questions are people going to ask us so that I can get out in front of?
Boy. What's something obvious that you've said 3 times that people are going to miss? How long should the video be?
Yes. There you go. Put that right there.
Should the post be on my story or on my page?
Main page, story doesn't count. I don't have Instagram. Can I still submit?
That's one that comes up every year.
Not really. I don't know what to tell you about that. Like, you can send us, if you can do some creative photos and videos, and if they're good, we'll post them on our page, but it's not really going to count because kind of why we drive this. The driver of a contest like this is it gets more posts out there from other people about our stuff. And, that's kind of the secret. If you won't need to be peeked behind the curtain, that's what adds the value to us is we get people talking about it and posting about it and we get to share it. So if you can't do that because you don't have Instagram, I guess, unfortunately, you don't get to play along with us. But otherwise, you just got to have a drink spotter, which I'm confident that a lot of people will be, that's very inclusive because we've sold a whole bunch of drink spotters over the years. So
a lot of them out there.
A lot of you have them out there.
You should have one, or you should have friends that have one. And if you don't have either one of those, then you've made a lot of bad choices.
Yes. Okay. That's it on the drink spotter contest for now. Get ready. We'll be seeing submissions here in less than a week. So curious to see hit us with your best shot, Pat Benatars.
Yes. Yes, Pat.
Should I do supporting our supporting members?
You should.
Okay. You're aware of this one, Tommy. This one's a good one. Well, do you want the good news or the bad news on this one?
Just good news.
Hit the whole thing.
Get the good news. Let's get it out there.
My wife always says, you want the good news or bad news? And I always say, good news only. Whatever the bad news is, for the love of God, keep it to yourself. I can't handle it right now.
Just bury that deep inside. Don't let it out.
Yes. Big Dan from Temecula, California, a place we're pretty familiar with. We missed connection here, unfortunately. We were in Temecula at Big Andrew's place, and like the next morning, Big Dan's wife reached out and is like, "Oh my God, are you in Temecula right now? My husband is a big fan. He would love to meet you." And unfortunately, we were like 2 hours away then with a completely full schedule, and we were trying to figure something out, and it couldn't really work. But Big Dan had health issues like he had a health scare, and it turned out he actually has kidney cancer. They just recently found out, and we just missed him by that much, which sucks. I wish we would have got, if we would have somehow known, we would have made a priority to get to see him there too. And we couldn't. So as a very piss poor consolation, I wanted to mention it on supporting our supporting members that just give Big Dan a shout out, and that the rest of the supporting members will be rooting for him.
All right.
Maybe we'll come up with something better, or someone will have some good ideas of maybe we can get a crew care package together to send to Big Dan in Temecula. He does also have a certified training facility now as well.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that was how that segment went, because when you said the good news or the bad news, I couldn't tell if you were prepping me for some worse news there.
No.
Okay. I'm like,
No, Dan's alive. I talked to Dan
way to
this
break
week.
it to me. But
Yeah, I did talk to Dan this week, thankfully.
okay,
So.
all right, good deal.
But maybe we'll figure something else how to incorporate Dan since we missed him by that close, which that's a stinker.
Mm-hmm.
Big Metalhead Fitness competed powerlifting meet, went 8 for 9 with a 1703 total. Some big lifts, a 601 squat, 474 bench, 628 deadlift. So he will be bringing a big package back to the Lift Hard Live Easy 3 this summer. With those numbers. And Big Zach, other crew member, was his meet day handler. So good job, Big.
Yeah, it's
Looks
a
like you
secret.
handled
Gotta
that
have a
meet to
crew-
perfection.
Yeah, crew member handling you.
Big Toby and Big Daniel competed together in the strongman competition, I assume, down there in Arizona. I'm not sure the final results for either of them, but I can only assume they did outstanding, like they always do.
Yes.
Big Keith, Big Chris Mark, and Big Lucas, the Rochester crew, competed together at Stone Wars 2025. And then Big Jess and Big Matt Cesney were there afterwards to give them a crew welcome, and maybe they were there watching it during the day even too. Most notably of the weekend, Keith performed one event while wearing 2 different shoes. Did you catch that, Tommy?
When I first saw the picture, because it just sticks out to you, and I'm immediately seeing the comments like, 2 shoes? What's the story here?
And by
then
2
the
shoes,
memes-
one of the shoes was the red and black Massenomics custom Ursus. The other shoe was the Audi Power
lifter. I mean, could not be more
like
opposite ends of the spectrum as far as
desert
shoes.
green lifter.
That was good. And then the memes started pouring in, and it was all was right in the world.
I would like to say I don't know how that could possibly happen. But I would say at a competition is the one time maybe where you're in such the heat of the moment that maybe it could slide, but I feel like I would notice once I took my first step away from it.
That's what I think too. I mean, it's hard to know until you've been there, but I've also been at a competition that it involved changing
We would really
footwear
need to walk a mile in his shoes.
in his uneven shoes.
I feel like I'd really only need to walk one step, but to properly judge him, I feel maybe we need to walk a full mile.
Yeah,
my back would be out of place if I walked a mile in one lifter and one.
See, that's my problem.
shoe.
Is I'd catch it after one step, but after I've done a mile in them, I don't even know what's going on anymore. That'd be my problem.
So good job at the contest too, but I really like the shoes. I'm like, is there some strategic reason?
Well, that's what I thought.
I don't. It's like
There's
it's
reasoning here.
Yeah, it's like you're almost like where you wear the belt, then you take the belt off for the next part.
He's
of the
like a
event,
punter or a kicker, you know. He has his cleat on and his kicking shoe.
Yes.
Do you think anyone will take the 2 shoe approach at the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic just as an homage to Keith?
I hope so. I'd like to think that some people will do that. Completely different shoes too. Like it's like a lot of my shoes could be mistaken for each other. I could put on my Ursus 2 and my Ursus 1, which are both all black, and you'd be like, I still think I would notice, but the heat of the moment, maybe you're thinking about something else. Big Derek competed in his first powerlifting meet. He went 8 for 9 with a 1395 total. Strong first outing for Big Derek. Big Ben Bile accepted a promotion at work. Congratulations to Big Ben. Can we all get a rousing hell yeah? Hell yeah, brother. And Big Kurt was this week's guest on Unpaid and Underrated. Go give Big Kurt a listen as he preps for his first ever powerlifting meet at the 2025 Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic. Potentially Live Threezy? Question mark. That's it this week from supporting our supporting members. Some people deciding to use that channel in our Discord appropriately and actually put in things there that deserve shout outs. And I gotta give credit where credit is due this week. You boys and girls, you did it right this time.
Yeah, I mean, this is where it fits. You love to see it.
You do really love to see it when it happens like this. And that was supporting our supporting members. You can get in on that by becoming a supporting member. We also got a bunch of other stuff that you get, like a discount code. It's the only way you get in our Discord. It's the only way you listen live. You get to know first info on drops. You get to early access to drops. We send a couple things out every year. We've got one master plan cooking actually still for supporting members. It's on the, I say it's cooking. It's on the back burner.
It's simmering right now.
Yeah, it's simmering on the back burner, but we got a pretty sweet plan. Someday if we decide we have the time to be able to do it, we'll probably make that come true. But for right now, it is a back burner plan. But I love the idea. And if and probably more like when we do it, it's going to be a bit of a game changer, I think, for the supporting member status. So you're going to wish you were a supporting member already if you're not. It is the number way you can support us. You know, you can buy stuff from us, do all that. We like all of those things, leave us reviews, but becoming a supporting member really is the one way you can help us out and make sure we keep this thing going. Helps us keep the lights on, so to speak. Big Dr. Jake, late edition. They are adding another. They're gonna be experiencing a family PR come August. August. Let's keep it in August, not July. We've got important shit to do this July,
date.
Jake. Yeah,
Summer's pretty full right now.
Really cutting it close there. So congratulations, but keep an eye on those dates, people. July is an important time in the Massenomics world. We can't be having all these babies in July. So whatever, backtrack 9 months from there, whatever that 9 months back from that is, just keep it in your pants.
I think they call it medical tourism, where people make their way to Aberdeen to have medical procedures, babies, things like that done during the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic.
We usually have a few doctors around. Is there a doctor in the house? There is. As long as he's not having his baby over that weekend, he will be there. This week's episode of the Massenomics podcast is brought to us, of course, by The Strength Co. The Strength Co. Check them out at thestrength.co. They have American-made Olympic iron plates. I just want to be honest with you guys this week on this ad. They're the best damn plates that exist. I don't know if I've told you before, but I got a lot of different plates these days. Every day I come home, I have no time to do anything but just to barely bring in my random plates that are showing up on my doorstep, bring them out from the cold, because if you're cold, they're cold, bring them inside. And there's some cool ones, but none of them still compare to the Strength Co plates. They're the best. They're smooth, easy to grip. The black E-coat finish, it pops. No other brand of plates look quite the way the Strength look and feel the way that they do in the gym.
Nope.
That's the earnest truth. So check them out at thestrength.co. Also, if you're going to buy Strength Co plates or really buy much of any equipment at all, go to the Massenomics website, and we have an affiliates link. There's a tab. It's probably massenomics.com/affiliates or something like that too, if I had to guess. You could click through to the Strength Co. Bells of Steel, a whole bunch of equipment companies, and all other the discount codes are listed there, but we get a little something back for some of those affiliate links, so check it out. Oh, I feel like I just talked a lot.
Well, there's a lot of accolades to go around, so
I guess that's what happens when you podcast. You got to talk quite a bit. Starting to understand what this all means about 463 episodes in. Nobody told me you're going to have to talk so much.
Sort of how the medium works. Does require some talking.
Okay. Do we want to jump into the title topic now? We have a lot of other topics here to hit on still, too. I mean, I don't know. This may not be a super long title topic.
I think we need to get into the title topic before we get too long here.
Yeah. Should we kick all the live listeners out to give them something to...
They're out of here.
Oh, before they go, let's talk about one other thing.
Okay.
Our drop.
Oh, yeah, good call.
This is, I'll put this to the top. Our drop is going to be coming on February 20th. That's a Thursday, so that is in 9 days from now. It is the week of this episode coming out. This Thursday, we have a new drop, and it's a banger. We won't release exactly what the drop is on this episode, but if you've been watching along on Massenomics YouTube, chances are you've probably seen a couple of things that are coming out. There's going to be 2 shirts in this drop. We'll tell you that much. And if you look closely, you can probably find them and make some guesses at what you think these 2 particular shirts are. But from what people have seen of these and from what we think about these are both going to be pretty hot sellers. Mm-hmm. We do have good inventory of both, but pretty excited about both of them. I'll say this also. We got a mix in this drop. One of them is going to be on the Comfort Colors Boxier Fit tee, 100% cotton. The other one's going to be on our more traditional blend tee that's a little bit more athletic fit. So we got a mix there, one of each, and there are different designs.
And we will, this gives you something to think about here. We will be taking these shirts to the Arnold with us, but depending on how the drop goes and the immediate demand after the drop, sizing could be a little weird. So if you are waiting till the Arnold, you might get the shirt. I mean, it'll more than likely be there, but sizing might not work out in your favor. It's hard to say.
Or if one of them say got really hot,
it might not be there.
Sold almost all of them. They could not go.
Yeah, if we do
sell most of them, it won't.
Yeah,
go.
we don't bring it. Yeah, if most of them are gone and we can only bring a couple in each size, it's not worth taking up a spot for that. So that is an issue to consider.
But please check out the drop. One other thing about that drop. Let's do for the first 50 orders of that drop, they're going to get something special. I don't know if we need to release it tell what it is right now, but we got a couple things sitting around here that we've been sitting on for a while. Do I want to show? Should I show what that is? Should I show that? Well,
because you got me curious now.
All right. We'll through code over the podcast since everyone's going to listen. Should the giveaway for the first 50 things be the smaller thing that could be kind of pokey or the bigger thing that could be kind of pokey?
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm talking about now? What our options are?
I'll let you decide.
I'm thinking maybe the bigger pokey thing.
Yeah, bigger's usually always better, right?
Yeah, we'll keep the other one in our back, the other pokey thing in our back pocket for a future. So the first 50 orders, actually pretty fitting with my outfit here tonight. I don't know if you can
mine
see
as well.
Actually, yeah. Well, it's destiny. It has to be this. I'm wearing the old royal blue Massenomics gym tee. I've got the zip up Massenomics gym hoodie. Tommy's wearing the wine boxier fit Massenomics gym tee. And the first 50 orders from this February 20th drop will receive a Massenomics gym black button.
Yeah.
Call that a button?
The gym skull. You'll receive the pin button pin.
The pin button. So this is like when you're play soccer when you're a kid and your mom orders the pictures and she gets a picture with your face on it on the button. That's what this button, and then you put it on like your zip up hoodie like this. It would be weird if I put it on here because it'd be like
really
the same logo
up
over the top of it. But yeah, pretty cool.
There it is.
Keeping that for some special occasion, and this is just the occasion to do it. Yeah, first 50 orders, get that for free, along with the usual stickers and that sort of thing that we thank you note, etc. Okay, now should we kick these rat bastards out of here?
Yep, they're gone.
Finally,
well, they're not gone this second. I'm in the process of removing them. This could.
My favorite part of the episode is when we get to kick these people out of here. Yeah. They quit freeloading. Listen to this when it comes out, like everyone else has to,
like every other person, like the other millions of people that do.
Millions. A weight's like being lifted off my shoulders as I see the
just
number
one
of live
person
listeners
lighter
go down. Yeah,
every minute.
And if you don't do it, I'm going to be reporting them for malfeasance.
Okay, they are gone.
Okay, so let me hit you with something here. That was a little quiet. Let me do it again.
I like that louder for the people in the back.
Play it louder for the people in the back. Ooh, disturb. So what is the exact, we don't know the exact title, but what's generally the
Today, we are going to be discussing the ethics of buying American versus buying foreign versus buying used. Oh.
And we're kind of specifically narrowing in on gym equipment. You know, you could broaden this out, but we're talking about gym equipment, right?
This is regarding gym equipment. This is a podcast about the gym and gym stuff. So we're talking gym equipment here.
So you said buying used versus buying foreign versus
buying American.
Buying American. Yeah, 3 different choices there.
And this is depending on who you talk to. Some people have right off the bat incredibly strong preferences one way or another on this, and some people do not care one bit at all. So
that's true. Some people, that's a really good point off the bat. It's just that some people just actually don't care.
Yeah, like some people are like, oh, you're going to have a conversation about this? I couldn't think of something I could care less about. And then there's other people that this is a very, very important part of their buying process, and in the way that they identify with their gym and how they feel like they're supporting people and companies and all of that. And I'm not saying either one of those is right or wrong. There's a lot of ways to look at this, but right off the bat, there's very different perspectives on how this is even approached. And what spurred this whole thing for us was we had recently made a video featuring Tanner's 2 dumbbell racks, the Alibaba dumbbell rack story. And if you haven't watched that video, I would recommend going on YouTube, finding that. I'll give you the very quick version of it because it is like a 15 to 20 minute video. But basically, Tanner had acquired he had a full set of pro style dumbbells for the gym, and then had acquired a full set of York roundhead dumbbells. And he had a lot of dumbbells, which meant that they were kind of scattered across various racks and locations throughout the gym. Wanted to consolidate it. Found an option that was incredibly expensive from an American manufacturer, and through some back channels found someone that had an Alibaba version that was significantly cheaper. In the end, you end up going with the cheaper option. You saved, what did we figure in the process? $5,000, $4,000?
Yeah, over $5,000, I think.
End up saving $5,000. Totally happy with this purchase. Would not change a thing. It all went great. It came faster than the other option. I mean, it was, as far as you were concerned, there was no downsides to it, right?
No. The only downside going into it was the uncertainty that it would work out the way it did, but it did work out the way it did.
Because, of course, you had Lillian Wang on your side. So, let's be real here.
Shout out.
Shout out, Lillian Wang.
Yeah.
But if you want to know more about that story, make sure you go check out that YouTube video, the Massenomics.
13 minutes and 36 seconds.
All right, there
That's
you go.
how long it is.
Massenomics Alibaba dumbbell rack. But there was a lot of very good conversation around, I shouldn't just say very good. There was a lot of conversation around.
Some of it very good.
Yeah, some of it was very good, some of it not so good. But talking about people chiming in on what they felt like the ethics were of buying American versus buying the knockoff in this case, or the knockoff. I'm kind of using that in quotes because we're talking about a dumbbell rack here. But there's a lot of discussion there. And we thought that, you know what, that is a good thing to actually have a longer form discussion about now that we've set the stage.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would say even before we even talk specifics, I like what you said about the beginning, where I don't know that there is I'm of the opinion that it's not so black and white.
Mm-hmm.
That just generally speaking, anyone that's just so solid in a camp on this, I think that's where maybe they're, I'm not even going to say wrong, but that's who I would tend to disagree with. Anyone that thinks so solidly that one way is right over the other.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, no, there is nuance to it. There's actually significant nuance to the whole process, I think, and to who it affects and how it affects. And I do think there's a lot of nuance to it. So that's where I kind of think, I'm not sure that being dogmatic about one being right over the other is correct.
No, I don't think so. Because, I don't know if you know this, we live in a very global economy, Tanner. Everything's connected. It's a tangled web of trade and dollars that are going on. And even in our own personal case, though, my small home gym has a mixture of Chinese, made in China items, made in America items, items made in countries that I probably don't even know where they came from because honestly, I don't pay that close of attention to it. And then Massenomics Gym also has a very wide selection of where products are made, and it kind of just depends on the product as to where it probably came from.
And I think that's a great point. I do think we mentioned it in the dumbbell rack video. It does depend on the product. Some products, I'm much more inclined to desire something that's made in America for a number of reasons. And some products, I really don't care. Like just on the surface, I'm like, I don't give a shit who made this where, actually. I just want it to be not so freaking expensive because it's not essential to me that it was made in America. Where it does matter the most, I think it's what I said in the video, is something like plates from buying from
a high touch item, you could say.
Yeah. And obviously Grant is our close personal friend.
Yeah.
So of course we talk about the Strength Co, but for that matter,
you're
if
actually
buy Rogue plates, made in America Rogue plates, they would fit into that conversation.
Yeah, you're actually kind of jumping into what we didn't even talk about how we're going to frame this conversation, but I think we should start up buying American, talking the pros and cons of this. And so like you were basically just going right into the pros of, there's several items that right off the bat, whether it's right or not, people typically market made in America as a premium option. Like, if I see made in America, I almost immediately assume, well, their marketing is positioning them as a more premium option. You know, the made in China ones typically are cheaper, and they're cheaper usually for reasons because it's not as good of a product. Not always, but a lot of times. So when I see made in America, like on plates, barbells, basically every bar.
Texas Power Bars. Yeah,
pretty much every bar we use, Texas Power Bars, Rogue, the barbells from Rogue, American Barbell,
the Strength Co barbells.
The Strength Co barbells. They're, as far as I know, all of those barbells are made in America, and those are like the most desirable barbells.
Yes.
You know, they hold their values better. They're just more desirable across the board. They're used in powerlifting meets. You know, that made in America when it comes to barbells is a badge of honor. It is a point of pride with barbells. So it's hard to be like, and then also the price difference isn't that much either on barbells.
That's an important part of the.
We're talking like you can get a lot of. If I'm just going with the generic answer here of Rogue, you can get a lot of Rogue products, or actually even Texas Power Bars for that matter. A lot of Texas Power Bars, for that mid $350-ish price. If you're going to look at foreign made bars, made in China bars, I don't know. A lot of them are kind of in that mid to high twos, if not even getting close to $3. So I don't know. Are you saving $100 maybe on something that you use every time you go to the gym? So it does for certain products like that, it makes it a harder sell to even consider the foreign option. Same thing with plates. It's a high touch item. Use it all the time. The made in America options are pretty good. We prefer the Strength Co ones, which are really, really nice plates. But if you're a Rogue person, we have some Rogue plates. They're fine. There's something
they're nice too.
They're good too. They're accurate. They're good. And then there are, when you start to look at, well, why would you get Chinese plates or why would you get foreign made plates? It's like, probably because they're cheaper. And a lot of times you get the cheaper plates. Yeah, they'll get you strong. Like Chad said, it's metal discs that you lift up and down. They'll get you strong at the end of the day. And he's absolutely right. Yeah. But, the finish might not be as good. They might not be as accurate. There's some discrepancies there. So if you're going to be nitpicky, that is a point to consider on those two items.
So in terms of a pro, though, generally, a lot of times it could mean it's more premium, as far as American.
That's my expectations, that if it's going to be made in America, it should be more premium.
I do. This is just, I actually agree with that completely. And this would be my devil advocate is sometimes I don't want, none of the companies mentioned, but it just does seem like the sort of marketing thing that sometimes people could use it as a crutch. To be
they absolutely do.
This is more premium, because I said it's made in America. But then it's but is it actually good? Mm-hmm. Did you make a good product or not? Yeah. If you make shit in America, I don't want to buy shit.
Yeah,
it has to be good.
We all go to businesses every day in our neighborhood and in our local communities and buy stuff. It doesn't mean it's good. That's all made in America. People doing stuff there, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's good. So yes. It isn't a blanket statement, but when you start talking some of the bigger names in the space, you do assume a certain level of quality if it's going to say made in America.
So then probably like, if that's point 1A of Made in America, 1B is then you're supporting companies and owners and employees that are American, right? You're supporting people within the country that.
Yeah.
Actually, we have a lot of, first of all, here's one other wrench. We have a lot of Canadian listeners. We have a lot of UK listeners. We have a lot of Australian listeners. Do they give a shit if something's made in America?
That's actually a good question.
They're like, well, to them, does it even sound premium, first of all? Because to us, there is that premium thing, buzz around it. Like, if you're from those countries, do you even think that? Or do you only think about how outrageous the shipping's going to be? But maybe they do feel like that maybe some of those listeners would feel like there's premium in some of those areas that we talked about, like plates and barbells and that sort of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, because I know
it's an interesting question.
Like, I do think though, like Made in Canada, like Irwin Fitness, I think not knowing much about them, I look at them as a super premium company, and I mean that's just based more off of what I see from the products they're releasing, and then they happen to be from Canada, so like I put that, and then like Eleiko, I mean made in Sweden. Yeah, that's obviously a premium company too. And we've had this conversation before. A lot of times, just the made in, as long as it's not China, you kind of start to just associate anything else with being premium. Right. Like it's like made in China, and then made anywhere else means premium. Starts to be how that actually works. Not saying that that's right or wrong, but that's the propaganda, the marketing that your brain has absorbed over the years. That's what you start to think. True.
But yeah, so to go back to my point, I think the 1B thing is that you're supporting business owners, employees, industry, the local economy, maybe literally local to you, but at least local in the sense of the country that you live. You know, you're keeping it within the borders of the Great 50, I guess, I suppose. And that's really a subjective thing to an extent also, because I think people value that very differently. You know, like some people value that greatly, right? You know, and wear that as a badge of honor if they're supporting things in that way. And some people don't care at all.
Well, and that's where this can already start to turn into a con. And are we ready to go to cons yet, or do you have another pro?
Yeah, no, I think those are the two. There's probably other pros around it, but those are the two big things. I think.
I think those are the most obvious pros.
And then that you're supporting local.
Yeah, and that is where the first con starts to be, and that is not always, but on a lot of products, you are paying for that Made in America badge. And I mean, that hits your wallet. That reduces your amount of disposable income you have to spend on other items in your gym. If you were to look at, just for comparison, a full gym build through Rogue versus a full gym build through Bells of Steel, for example, your prices are going to be wildly different on what that is. And that just comes down to making the choice of buying Made in America versus made in anywhere else. And that's for you to decide if are you willing to give up, or how much buying power are you willing to give up for that Made in America badge?
Right. What about anything else on the con side of it when you're buying Made in America? I mean, I think that's typically the biggest thing is the price that's going to go along.
Yeah. I mean, the local thing can be wildly different. I mean, yeah, it's in your country, but it could be a small shop with 3 people on the opposite side of the country. And it's like, yeah, I guess you're keeping the dollars in America, but you're really not doing anything for the local economy, right, as it were there. But
okay. So if we look at then the opposite of buying something, really, we'll just say China, buying something that's made in China for gym equipment. Pros, just in the opposite, are probably a lot of times you can be able to buy something cheaper. Right.
Yeah.
Like that's the biggest pro.
That's I feel like that's people aren't doing like, oh, I just love supporting Chinese built stuff.
No, it's because of the price.
It's like, oh no, I love getting a deal like this squat rack. I got this one for $900, where a comparable American made one would be $3,000. And if it came to that, for some people, it's just like, no, I'm just not gonna have a gym. Like it's like some people, it comes down to the difference between doing this or not doing this. And I don't think you'd want someone to sit on the sidelines and be like, yeah, if you can't afford American, you just should even be doing this. Like I would not recommend that to anyone.
Right. There could be people that take that stance though. Honestly.
No, and there definitely are. That's not the stance I would take though. I mean, the stance I would take is over here to lift, not to, like the primary goal here is to lift to get stronger, not to be concerned with exclusively where my products are coming from.
So that's the pro, and then which is the opposite on the other side of the coin. And then really the cons are the same way, where it's the opposite side of the coin. So the con is you're not supporting local. In theory, that's the con. You're not supporting local, and then maybe you're getting an inferior product too.
Yeah, you could definitely be getting an inferior product, and there's certain things that's like, oh, an inferior product is totally fine. Like, I use this like
that's correct.
I use this like once a week. It's kind of like an accessory to an accessory. Like, it's not a high wear item. I'm delicate with it. Like,
the price difference is significant.
Yeah, like I can afford to skimp here because this actually gives me more options to potentially buy more made in America stuff later on with other gym purchases. So yeah, that is a consideration there. One other thing too, depending on the company, you typically do, as a pro for American made, you typically do associate that with better customer service. But that kind of, also kind of just
sometimes
consider that. Yeah, sometimes.
In my Alibaba, I said it in the video also. It was like the best customer service, or it was on par with the best customer service I've received on any gym products I bought. Yeah, that's being completely honest.
Yeah, and so that's not that's not a truth across the board. Like, you can look on Home Gymcon of people buying stuff from like American-made companies and not having the best experience, but
some Americans run shitty companies.
Oh, they do. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's a person. Just because you're American doesn't mean you're a business expert.
Right.
So that's individual. It has nothing to do really with the company. It's just at the end of the day, it usually makes you feel a little better. Like, if I'm having issues, there's a person in my country I can get a hold of, versus most of us have never been to China. I don't even know who I'm getting a hold of over there. If that's the route you're going. Typically, you're not going that route. You're working through a company that does have like a customer base team in America, but just another point to consider there.
Yeah. Should we read it all? This comment from the YouTube video, there was one particularly interesting comment.
Yeah, I think so. Cause now, yes.
And then we wait and we talk about the option of buying used as another option.
Yeah. Cause that comment does apply directly to, what we're talking about right now. So there's a lot of comments on the video. Some of them were dumb. Some of them were like not well thought out. But this was a very long comment, but it was also very well thought out. And it was when we were in California, someone popped in and we're like, wow, that guy actually, it was a very thoughtful comment. He clearly put some time and effort into making an argument and writing it well. So props to this guy for what he says here.
Yeah, it was Chris Texan, and I don't know if I'll read the whole thing, but at least hit some of the main points. He said, the whole debate about buying local, I totally support that. In regards to things like dining out, supporting a small local restaurant versus a big national chain, for example. And if the difference isn't significant, absolutely buy local. Example, a $1,000 US-made rack versus a $900 Chinese import isn't going to break the bank to buy domestic products.
So this is first paragraph. I 100% agree with everything he's saying here. This is great.
That's I'm like, I support that. I'm like, if you can support logo and the price is just marginally more, and also the product's better, I'm like, okay, you've sold me on that. And especially if it's important kind of product, and the
and like, even for me, I'm trying to think in my experience here, when I bought my Matador, my tricep dip stand for my rack, I believe the option through Rogue was like $120 and the option through Bells of Steel was like $90. I'm like $30, and then of course Rogue, you do have to pay shipping, which is probably another $20 some. But I'm like, at the end of the day, it's like $50. I really don't care. Like, I will spend the extra $50 for what seems to be a higher quality product.
Yep. Then he says this, but here's the key thing that some people forget or overlook in the discussion. You are local. If you spend double or triple on products to buy local, so he's saying twice or three times what you could otherwise buy them not local, you are hurting your own also local business, taking resources out of your environment that could be used to further your success and thus help other local folks succeed in whatever associations they have with your business. So basically, if you're saying if you're, in a sense, wasteful spending just to buy American made versus maybe a more financially savvy decision in that case, especially if you're running a business, whether it could just be your own personal, life, how you look at it, or if you're running a business like us.
Yeah. But I think in this
are-
case, just sub out business for you, like your own person, your own personal finances.
Yes. You are limiting your pool of resources to do other things, to support other companies, to improve your own situation. Economically speaking, pure capitalism. Well, no, I'm actually not sure if I want to read the rest of this or not. If it gets in the weeds or too much, but I really like that point that he made there.
I think his last thing, I do like how he kind of wraps it up here. He says, so while supporting a local business, even it costs a little more, is generally good. Making a huge savings buying non-local so that your local business holds on to more of its money locally makes much more sense. By keeping more resources at your disposal, you get to choose how to better use them going forward. Sending twice as much off to another business that is often sourcing from China anyways, is just giving money to some other person to let them choose how to use it or waste it. And I think that's a great,
very good point.
Yep, that's great. Like, that's just be smart about how you're spending your money here.
And just philosophically, I generally agree with him, just from a personal standpoint. That is kind of how I look at it. If I can support local, if it's meaningful, if I really know it's local, if the price isn't outrageously different, if the product is superior, I like to be able to, I go into it being able to justify to buy the Made in America product. But sometimes the dumbbell racks, no way in hell would I change that decision. That is such the right decision in my mind, spending the $2,400 on those two Alibaba Made in China racks versus the $8,000. Like, you can literally look at all the other things I put in Massenomics gym because of saving that $5,500.
Right, because we're not talking about an endless pool of money here. So, like, if you do that, it's like, all right, well, automatically you've drastically changed your pool of resources for buying. Your expenditures for the entire rest of the year have now been significantly adjusted because you spent all that money on it. Here's another important point I like to make, and I'm not sure, I've been using a term here, and I'm not sure if this is correct or fair, but I've been using the word knockoff several times here. And when I'm saying knockoff, that's assuming that, so in this case, the comparison we're making is Prime versus Alibaba. Yeah. That's assuming Prime was the original company, the first company to ever make a dumbbell rack that was 4-tier and had a sliding shelf. And I'm not sure if I haven't done an archive, a catalog of all the dumbbell racks in existence. I don't know. Prime might not even have been the first person. Actually, if you type in on Google dumbbell rack sliding shelf, I believe it's Legend Fitness also has a dumbbell rack with a sliding shelf. So again, which one is the knockoff? I don't even know in that case.
And I'm assuming there's not intellectual property involved in this. So knockoff,
we are
legally
talking about a shelf that slides.
Right. Right. Exactly. So knockoff is not an incorrect term, but I think like not literally a knockoff. We're just buying the cheaper, not made domestically option. Like the far cheaper made. Now, I guess one thing we didn't include is ethics of how things are made. I think it's fair to say that everything that's made in China probably is less ethically made than how it is in America. That's certainly another piece of the puzzle.
That is, and that's really hard to get the answer.
I'm not on a high enough horse to like.
Well, it's hard because you start going
I'm
down
not
that
going to
road.
not buy anything from China. Like, I'm not going to be like, nope, I'm never wearing a Nike shoe.
Well,
I'm never wearing an.
You're never wearing. You're never wearing shoes again.
I'm not going to use an.
Yep, you're not using an iPhone.
I'm not using
you're not using a
electronics.
computer. You're not using electronics. You drastically. I mean, you're not living in this century anymore. You're like back to because everything is over there, and then it starts to come to the conversation of, well, do I need to do a full back catalog search of how everything was sourced and made? And maybe it's possible. I'm guessing a lot of things you can't even know. Like, it is an endless rabbit hole once you start going down that path.
I typically want to be a pretty good person. But there's some things I'm like, nope, fuck it. That's not my job to worry about that. Like, that's my honest, just as an individual. I'm like, I am not worrying about that. That is outside of my scope of
it's the same thing. When you go to buy a coat, Are you buying a Patagonia coat that's from ethically sourced down from
Right.
South America? Or are you like, no, this is going to get covered in gasoline and be rolled around on the ground and smell.
I'll tell you what, I'll buy the cheaper coat.
And I'll just get the Carhartt one that's probably made in Indonesia now. Like that's, and that's it's the exact same conversation. There's trade-offs in all of this.
Yep. I do think that although that is correct, should we talk about the alternative option then of buying used?
Yeah, so
because I think it's possibly the most interesting thing here to discuss.
Yeah, so we've been talking made in America versus made overseas and what that means. And there is another variable here, and that is buying used. And this is a very, very popular option in the gym community of Marketplace. Like, look at Marketplace anytime in your town. If you're in a major market of any kind, like the people are wheeling, dealing, and hustling all types of stuff on there all the time. And this is something we were talking about is buying used. That actually, in most cases, does nothing to support the company you're buying. Like, if I go on Marketplace right now and buy a 6-post Rogue rack, maybe I save $1,000. I didn't do anything. Like, the Rogue did not get that money. Like, it was, I didn't support the company in any way. They're not seeing any of those dollars from that. And in fact, if everyone switched to that model of only buying used Rogue stuff, the company wouldn't exist. There's no one to buy the new stuff anymore.
Well, even if it went more drastically, they'd have no money left to go into R&D. They'd stop coming out with more new products and that sort of thing. Here's even a more example that hits even probably closer to home: the Strengthco plates. If I go buy some used off of Marketplace because some pop up for sale in Minneapolis, and I buy 5 pairs of 45s that come up used, and I tell Grant, is he like, oh, awesome? Or is he like, thanks, I guess? Like,
I'm glad you have those, but now because that product lasts forever, I guess I don't need to see you again.
Right. Like, that's the thing, right? It's like, okay, I guess that's good. You have more plates that are being in your videos, but you know what would really support me? Buying the product from me and not buying it used from someone else. I've already made that sale.
Not giving me moral support, but giving me financial support. Yeah, because
and most of these businesses
run on financial support at the end of the day.
It's the classic. We know a guy that sells some pizzas in Ohio, and one of the first times we met him at the Arnold, we made a comment about something he's doing there, like, oh, it's probably good for, what's the word? Engagement
or views, I think we said.
Yeah, something like that. And he's like, yeah, that stuff's all fine, but you know what's good? Money.
Yeah.
When my products actually sell, that's the measuring stick in this game.
Yeah,
and it's like
something along the lines.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep. Views don't pay the bills. And
right.
A lot of times they don't. And I will be the first to say, and you can do the same thing, that we have both bought lots of used equipment, over time.
Yes.
We've done a fair amount of that. And sometimes it's just too good of a deal not to. It is. It
goes back to the same thing, the comparison of the made in China products.
Mm-hmm. It does. It's just too good of a deal not to. It's convenient. You can get it right now. You can save some significant money on shipping and buying a secondhand product. That you could say the depreciation has come out of it, but don't fool yourself. You're not really supporting the company in that case. I
ethically don't have a problem with doing it, I guess is the point. Important. Buying used, I have no problem with that, and no problem if people do it. But don't think you're supporting the company the same way you would if you were buying that product new from the company.
No,
right?
You're not in that case. In very rare cases, I guess maybe like if you buy a used rack, I'm just going to use Rogue again as the example here. Maybe that gets you to buy some like Rogue J cups or attachments, but that's not the most common case. Like the plates, a lot of times it's like, oh, it's a one and done. I got my plates. I don't need more plates, or I got my bar.
And you will post the plates on the internet and something like that, but the views don't, and maybe if someone else sees the plates and they decide
there's a lot of maybes there. A lot of maybes.
Yeah, right.
In that pool.
It's not a bad thing to do.
Well,
it's just not the same as supporting the company.
We see people occasionally, and it's always a joke to us, having Massenomics apparel posted on eBay or Poshmark or something. And yeah, cool. I guess someone buys that, but I mean, there could be 1,000 pieces that go on eBay, and someone could buy all 1,000 of them.
Help our company.
It doesn't do anything for our company. Like, we don't see any of that money. In best case scenario, I guess they wear that and a friend asks them where they got it and they direct them to our website, but that's making a lot of assumptions.
Yes. I don't know if there's any other specific points, but I would just overall say it is very gray. I just don't think it's as black and white as some people think it is. The whole situation. I don't think there's a definitive blanket right and wrong answer to when and what you buy. It depends a lot on your own personal take on a lot of these issues and how you want to weigh in on it. And I would just say maybe sometimes reserve some of your judgment for what other people are doing, because they might not feel the exact same way you do about a lot of the issues we discussed, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. That's if someone has an all 100% made in America gym, I think that's pretty sweet. That's cool. A gym I want to go do a gym tour of. As a matter of fact, I want to do that gym tour. That's going to be a great gym tour for YouTube.
Already.
Yes, I just said the title. Mm-hmm. For that matter, if someone wants to make an all made in China gym, that's also a gym I want to tour. Yep. And that's a true statement. I would love to tour both of those gyms, and both of them are probably going to be cool. And I'd be like, well, you're doing that's an interesting take on how to build a gym that you went all one direction and then a whole bunch of people varying places in the middle.
Yes. And I would also add that at the end of the day, our ultimate perspective on all this is the goal is to get strong, healthy, fit, all of that. However, whatever games you got to play in your head for the way you spend your money to justify this and that, that's all up to you. Again, the goal is health here. The goal is health, not the collection and the spending of the dollars.
Right. The spending of the dollars is pretty fun, though. It's quite the high when you get a sweet piece.
Trust me, I was like, actually, we're going to talk, when we're doing this, we're going to start talking about some of the stuff I just bought. But so, I mean, I'm not exempt from this either. But a little reality check every now and then is always nice, too.
Yeah. I think that's good. I think that puts a pin in that or wraps that one up in a nice bow. I assume everyone will agree with absolutely everything we said, and there won't be any comments on our YouTube video. Just kidding. Please do leave a comment in our YouTube video. What's your take on that subject? Where do you fall in that spectrum? I think it's a spectrum.
Oh, I think so.
And where do you fall in the spectrum? And where do you draw lines? It's interesting, even Basement Brandon, Kurt Locker, all these other people, all respectable, very, well-known people in the space making content and stuff. Their comments, even just their honest comments, I don't know. It's, they say it's a very tricky. Yeah, it's a very tricky, could be a slippery slope, or it's tricky. Everyone's got an opinion, and it's interesting to see where everyone fits. So leave us a comment on where you fit, or maybe you just don't give a shit. Leave us that comment too, if that's what you think.
Or if you insist on buying made in America equipment, do you carry that through your entire life, or do you just draw the line?
Or is it just gym equipment
and everything after that? You're like, nope, I'll buy anything off of Amazon. I'll buy anything from Walmart. I don't care where that
gym
crap
equipment
comes from. Yeah,
that's my line.
Where do you draw?
I guess everyone's got a line, so where do you draw it?
Yeah, do you carry that over to your clothing and your footwear and your computing devices and everything?
So you did buy some equipment, though, didn't you?
I did. I bought.
What are you rocking there?
I bought the Repins, the Repin adjustable dumbbells. I bought those in. Oh, when was it? I think mid-December. And at the time, it was showing a 2-month lead time on the order fulfillment, because these are kind of a hot item. And it was said initially that it was going to start shipping February, I think 14th or 17th. It was mid-February, so somewhere in there. I've had them for over a week now. So they shipped almost 2 weeks early, which was a pleasant surprise. I assumed, if anything, it was going to go long the other way. I assumed it was going to get pushed out, but it was when we left for our California trip. It was that morning, got an email that my dumbbells had shipped and that they would be arriving in a day or two. So it wasn't once the notification was out, it was not that long of a wait. And we will do a full review on these down the road once I've used them a little more and we just work it into the calendar. But I'll give you my first impressions now that I've used them a few times. I love them. They're so nice. They're just so good. don't have a ton of experience with other adjustable dumbbells, and it seems the most popular one that comes up is Power Blocks, and I actually did consider those like a pair of used ones because it was such a significant savings to see one. But at the end of the day, the only used ones that would pop up around here were like the lighter ones that would go up to like 50 pounds.
Yeah.
And not a huge dumbbell guy, but I also did want something that would go over 50. And, you know, I was just YOLOing it. Like, sometimes you gotta treat yourself.
Every once in a while. Yeah.
Every once in a while, you gotta treat yourself. I've been messing with this damn dumbbell thing long enough that I'm like, screw it. Nope, I'm gonna do this.
I'm just gonna get the good one.
I'm just gonna get this done with. I'm not gonna let this hold me back anymore. And
are Repins made in America?
No,
they're not.
They're made
I
in
actually
China.
don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
okay.
and what for people that don't know, it is based off of, I think the guy's name is David Pepin, a Canadian manufacturer fabricator, came up with the original ones, and they were something like $3,500 or something because they were made in Canada. You know, it's a small manufacturer making these in Canada. They were like $3,500. Rep comes in and says, "Hey, we can mass produce these in China with our, you know, whole system we have and our marketing and sales channels.
We'll put our rep power behind it."
Yes, and we can offer them starting as low as $1,000. And it's like, what? That's a huge price swing. And I'm not a huge dumbbell guy. I got the set. I got the small set. I got the set that goes up to 85 pounds. If you want, I think the heaviest one's like 125. I don't know if I've ever touched a dumbbell 100 pounds or bigger in my life. I know enough people that are really, really strong that I've never see touch like really heavy dumbbells that I'm just like, I am totally fine. I don't blame anyone for getting the big ones. It looks sweet when you have them. I totally agree. Seeing that thing loaded out, it looks awesome, but heavy dumbbell work is just not really part of my thing. And even another funny part, when we're at Chad's gym, he said, yeah, I had like dumbbells up to 120, but
didn't really use them.
120 ones are just kind of a pain. I didn't really use them, so I sold them. And that's the guy that could bench like 600 pounds damn near. And even he was like, 120 pound dumbbells. Yeah, no, don't need those things. So so I guess you could say I saved myself like $300 or $400 by only getting the 85 pound set versus the 125 pound set.
Oh, that's extra money you can spend on other gym equipment.
Well, exactly. It's back in the bucket. You know, I was going to spend it. So I just saved myself so much money. So I have all this extra money to spend, but getting them in, they arrived in great shape. The packaging was awesome. Like really, really impressive how well they were packaged up. Actually, my box had some dings in it, but as far as the actual dumbbells go, they were flawless. Yeah. The finish on everything was perfect. There was no nicks, scratches, in anything. And they adjust so nice. Like it's just so quick to adjust them. And what I've learned really quick in my home gym is that if I have to dick around with setting stuff up and moving and tearing apart, I'm not going to do it. Like I don't like to tinker around in the gym. Like I want to put the weights on that are needed and be done with it. Like that's my setup is moving a bench in and out. That's as much setup as I want to do. And I figured that out in a hurry when I had my adjustable. I have the Kensui plastic handles where you can adjust weights in. And I think that's actually a really nice product for the cost. It was like, I think I got them on sale for like $40 for the two handles. And that's what I've been using for my dumbbells. And it's totally acceptable. You can totally get by with that. I don't throw my dumbbells. So that's not a concern either. But what I figured out is
really pissed.
Unless I get absolutely pissed because I missed my set. But what I figured out is if I have to sit and spin those damn things off, one end, the other end, the other dumbbell end, the other dumbbell end, and I do that like multiple times in a workout. I don't even want to do it once in a workout. So what I do is I put basically 25 pounds on my dumbbells.
That's just
and
what
I just leave it.
Yeah.
And if it's like, nope, if it's like bicep curls, yeah, that's a challenge. Any type of pressing movement, that's not anything. So I just don't do that. I just don't do any dumbbell movements that involve something more than that because I don't want to sit screwing those dumbbells around. And now that I have the Repins, I'm incorporating dumbbells so much more into my routine. Like for example, just warming up with Juggernaut. Is it dumbbell Cuban press? Is that what they call it when you come?
Yep.
Like before there, I was grabbing 10-pound plates and using 10-pound plates because I want to do 15s or 20s, but not 20s. I want to do 15s, but I don't have 15s on my dumbbells and 20s are it's a little too heavy when my elbows and everything are still warming up. So for example, now I grab the reps on the Repins on my warm up. I do those. Right after that, I go into a goblet squat as part of my warm up. A 20-pound goblet squat just isn't very heavy. Like it's kind of like doing a free squat. I can grab the Repins and now do 40 or 45 pounds and like, ooh, all right, I got a little weight taking me down. This is feeling good. And that's already 2 weight changes and I haven't even technically started my workout yet. And like today there was some split squats. So like depending on your split squats versus some other arm versus dumbbell curls, like those are wildly different weights there too. So yes, so far I have loved them. They've been great. I am so happy and excited that I have these at my disposal in the gym now.
So they're worth the price, at least.
So far for me, yeah, they're awesome, and they feel like a traditional dumbbell. Actually,
look like one.
They kind of look like one. The changes are super quick. They're not totally round, which in my case is kind of a pro because my other ones that were totally round would actually roll away from me a little bit. So I'd always have to set them up on their end when they were done. This is like, no, just set them down. They're not round. They're kind of. They're mostly round, but they have just a few straight edges on them that stop them from rolling. So, really, really good product.
Is there any major negatives yet so far?
I don't have one. I mean, I guess the price. If you had to think of something, like it's the price. But again, look at buying. If you're going to talk new, I get it used. You can find deals on used. But if you're going to buy new, a full set of dumbbells is expensive. So
right. So the price really isn't I mean, it's kind of almost it's a pro possibly depending on what you
good. And I understand at the end of the day these are adjustable dumbbells. I don't expect them to be perfectly mimicking a pro style dumbbell. Like
right.
If I wanted a pro style dumbbell, I would buy pro style dumbbells,
so have you finished benching with them yet and just chucked them across?
No, because I don't do that to any of my stuff. I don't throw any of my stuff. Like it's, one of the lowest things that my concern is a drop test.
Right.
I don't drop any of my stuff. It would be an emergency if I dropped it. And if that's the case, well, then it was an emergency. So whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've watched other people drop them to know that they stand up, and that's good enough for me to know, I guess.
It's funny. I've been in the presence of Repins more than one time on multiple occasions, and I've like even at Darko's just a few weeks ago, and I still have never actually picked one up. Like I've never actually, I don't know that I've looked at it and been like, oh yeah, it looks cool. And I still I've yet to actually touch one.
Because they still, at the end of the day, I mean, they are flashy and cool, but also when you're looking at a full rack set up with bars and everything, that is always kind of cooler at the end of the day.
Right.
It
is a pretty minimal space upgrade to the gym though.
For sure. Yes. So yeah, I'll do some house cleaning, some rearranging here soon, but initial impression on the Repins is they are a sweet buy. If you go on the Repin, make sure to use our affiliate link. We have one on this video. You can click it if you're interested in buying a pair of Repins. That would help us out.
Yeah, absolutely. I had some bells. I won't say what, but I had some Bells of Steel boxes show up to my house today.
Ooh.
Absolutely demolished through the shipping process.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. And I think there's a few things missing. This is actually, I'm not saying any fault to Bells of Steel. I think the shipping company did me one over. I'm pretty sure I'm missing 3 boxes. And the frickin' guy these frickin' freight delivery guys call you like, you hear nothing about it, and they call you like 10 minutes before they're coming over to your house. And I'm like, it's frickin' 1 p.m. on a Tuesday.
Well, how do they do it for people that just live in cities and work jobs not at home?
I don't know. I actually don't. And I'm like, does someone have to sign? Like, yeah, someone's got to sign. And I'm like, let me know a day before, even, for the love of God. Like, quit fricking.
Or at least a couple hours when you're driving here.
Yes. Anyways, and then they beat to shit, and then it's like, oh, there's no pallet. I actually got to unload these by hand and all this stuff. I'm like, not sure if you guys are actually doing what you've been paid to do at this point.
Right.
I think you're doing a shitty job.
You're not holding up your end of the deal here.
I'm not talking about the supplier of the equipment. I'm talking about the shipping companies. I just feel like you're not doing a good job. So I think some things are missing. So I got to get that straightened out, which is annoying. But I won't talk about what's coming, but there's Massenomics gym equipment project in the work there also. But I did get something else that I've been waiting to drop this on you on the podcast.
Okay.
This is going to be fun.
All right. I'm very curious.
I'm pretty sure you are not aware of this yet. I haven't spilled any beans to this except maybe a few local people that have picked up on it. But if you remember a few weeks back, we talked about the conversation that we're going to have another driver in our household, so we're going to need a new vehicle.
Oh, yes.
And I had my eyes on some different things. We talked about like Chevy Trackers, how those would be cool.
And how the market on them is just insane.
Yeah, and I've been looking at this used market quite a bit. Well, luckily for me, there was a Massenomics supporting member that reached out and said, hey, I'm actually thinking about trading this vehicle of mine in. Then even more luckily for me, he was going to trade it in with another supporting member that happens to sell cars.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so we have this triangle of Massenomics triangle where we know everyone's playing, it's a pretty open deck of cards where we all get to see each other's hands. And he says, this might be kind of what you were talking about on the podcast. I think this could fit what you're talking about. And I looking at it, I'm like, this might be the right answer. This could work out. So he let me borrow the car for a while to try it out. He had to see if he was for sure going to buy this newer vehicle that he was, see if he's going to finalize that deal. And the trade value that they'd give him for it wasn't very good, as is standard for any used car you're selling in. They kind of never give you what you think it's worth. So I'm like, well, we could find some value in between. That's works better for everyone. Then the one crew member still gets to sell a car. The other crew member gets a little bit better deal for his used car.
And you get a car.
I get a car. You get a car. You get a car. You get a car.
It's a win-win-win.
Yes. So, do you want to know what the car is?
I really want to know what the car is. If you told me to guess, I don't even know. I have no guess at all. I have zero guesses.
I have to say, I am sure I was aware of this as a model of car at some point in time, but the name of it, I'm like, what is that called? And he said it, and I'm like, that escapes me that if I ever knew what that was called or not. Like, I'm not sure.
Okay, are you saying like make or just the model?
The model.
Okay.
Yeah, the model.
Right. So can we play a guessing game where you start giving me clues here?
Yeah,
because I really want to know, like, the fact that you're like don't know that it's a model. I'm like, oh well, I even know what I know what.
Yeah, make absolutely, but model. That's a.
So what year are we talking here then?
It's a 2006.
2006. Okay, yeah, I was in high school then, so I definitely was around.
Yep.
God.
Yeah. And how about this? I'll tell you this. It's a very, very popular make, right? It's a very popular brand of car.
So I feel like if we're talking Midwest, it has to be like a Chevy or a Ford, or I guess it could be a Dodge. Unless you got them a truck, I don't think you got a Dodge though. And I don't think it's a Chrysler either.
Oh, also, I buried the lead. You're going to be totally jealous because you know what type of vehicle you say that you love.
Oh, a station wagon. Yeah. Is it a station wagon?
I just took, that's actually the lead here is I took what you've been saying for a while. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do that.
The pinnacle of the automobile.
The pinnacle of the automobile.
The styling and handling of a car.
This is the lead. I actually forgot. That's how I meant to approach this. For scratch everything I said. That was how I was going to open this and be like, you know how you've been wanting a wagon? Well,
my God, a 2006 station wagon. What would it be? Oh, it's not a Dodge Magnum, is it?
No, that would be that would be a.
We were just talking about that one though.
This isn't in the category of like a really super, but Dodge Magnums are awesome. I want to be on the record. So I would like to have a Dodge. If I just had a limited number of cars, Dodge Magnum would be one. I
don't even know anymore. I'm so lost.
Okay.
What is it?
All right. Well, let me tell you the make and see if you know without me telling. Because when I say it, you'll probably be like, oh yeah, I do know about that. So it's a Ford. A 2006 Ford wagon. Do you know what it's called?
Oh, well, it's not like a Well, a wagon or a hatchback here? Are we talking like a Focus or a?
No, it's a wagon.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Did they make a Taurus wagon?
No. Well, I mean, essentially,
So what is it then?
it's the Ford Freestyle.
Oh, the Freestyle. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's Big Zach's Freestyle.
Yeah,
You've probably
yeah.
seen it before.
Yep.
It's,
He had it at the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic.
Yeah,
Yes.
has a hitch on it.
Okay.
Use it. It's Pueblo Gold is the color.
Well,
of the
I
Ford
mean,
Freestyle.
of course it is, right? Like,
Yeah, I think that's the color for.
I actually love that is the name of the color. Assuming that, yeah, Pueblo Gold Metallic. Yeah, this actually. Now that I see this checks all of the boxes so well for everything you were describing, Tanner.
That's what like when he sent this to me. I mean, I knew about his car actually, but I'd never thought about. I'd never
because
thought
why would
about
you
his
think of
car.
a Ford
in it.
Freestyle as your first
Yeah.
option, right? Like
right. And when he brought it up, I'm like, actually, yes, this is it. I was like, I think this is the car.
Oh man, okay, all right, I dig it. Yeah, this is good.
Only and the big part of the selling point to me, only 114,000 miles, and it was just the owners have just been him and his father.
Really?
So I'm like,
That's
okay,
basically a
here we go.
one-owner car.
That's yeah.
Okay.
Ford Freestyle,
So-
2006.
Does it have a
And-
third row in it?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Third
this
row.
picture shows a third row. I didn't know if that was optional or real,
Yeah,
but
there's a center console in the middle row, and then there's folding. We have the third row folded down right now because haul shit. But
so you could throw a bike in there or something if you wanted to,
yeah.
probably.
yeah, like first week's impression, I love the Ford Freestyle. So my son doesn't get to drive for about 6 more months, and I'm like, I took my pickup through the wash, parked it in the garage. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to get this out for the next 6 months. I'm back to the Buick. It's like the Buick LeSabre life all over again. I'm like, yep, I forgot. I love having an older car to drive and not drive my pickup.
Just cruises nicely through traffic,
Oh,
you don't have that truck suspension. That's what I think when I drive my wife's. So my wife has a 2020 Tahoe. When I drive that thing, I'm like, God damn, this rough ass truck beating around the city. I don't even like driving. She thinks it's the best vehicle ever. I don't even like driving it. And don't get me wrong, it is nice. But then I get in my car, I'm like, God, 2009, we're 11 years older and it rides so much nicer. Yeah. And zip in and out of traffic, no problem. Yeah, it's a car for you.
Yeah, so the Ford Freestyle is Jack's new car, and so it is. We do all call it Jack's car. He doesn't have his license just yet. So, but I been driving it, getting the feel for it, and I'm liking the Freestyle.
Do you know any technical specifications on here, like what we're talking about engine-wise or anything?
I'm pretty sure it's got. This is probably not where the 2006 Ford Freestyle shined. I think the 3-liter V6.
Oh, it is a V6. Okay.
I think that's what the Ford Freestyle. It's this model is a front-wheel drive. I think they made an all-wheel drive. I really honestly haven't barely even looked into it. I do think there was an all-wheel drive model which would bring a premium, but to be honest, that wasn't essential to me.
I mean, I can see it. Cars.com has the model list here. There was, an all-wheel drive variant. Yep.
Yeah, and what do they say for engines? Is there the 306?
So this just says
V6.
It just says V6. It is not giving me specifications.
And it is not the
sorry, right here, 3-liter. Yep, 3-liter V6.
It's actually, I actually also like it for that because it's not going to be all that fun of a car to go like
right. Yeah, you don't want your kid's first car
car
to be a car that 0 to 60 is like 4 seconds.
Right. Yeah, I think you would really like this wagon.
Yep. I'm digging the choice here. Yes, did I ask you though? So what does Jack think of it though? What is he like?
Oh, he loved it.
Oh, he actually
he was completely on board with anything. He was completely happy to get any car. He was legitimately more excited about his Nas Reed towel. That's his prized possession at this point.
Actually, yeah, when I think about it, that's actually my first car experience too. It was like, oh, it has wheels. All right, let's do this.
That's what totally. I mean, he was like, sweet. He thinks it's cool, but doesn't care really.
So that is so. All right, so 2006, and so we're talking a 20-year-old car.
20-year-old car. Yep.
I'm just trying to think, like the first car. Actually, my dad had, it was very funny, a Mercury Capri, little 2-door convertible.
Yep.
And like when I first learned to drive, I drove that thing for a few months. And then he's like, oh, this is not a car that anyone should have in the winter in South Dakota because it wasn't.
Right.
And so he bought me I think it was an 88 Suburban, which is the largest vehicle you could ever buy a new driver. And on top of that, it was a 2-wheel drive. So it's just this massive boat that's rear wheel drive. Did not the best winter car around here, but
Right.
I thought it was sweet. I really enjoyed it. I was just excited to have a car, and that was my first car for probably a year and a half, 2 years.
That's the right. That's the way it should be. I mean, we've talked about this at length.
Yeah.
My philosophy on the first car and that sort of thing. And I like the idea of having something that the high school parking lot is basically bumper cars where they go. So
Yes.
like it inevitably is going to have something happen to it, and then I can be like, well, that's why this was your car, and not something 10 times more expensive.
Right. The Freestyle just deflects that.
Yeah, the Freestyle is in great condition though. Not a bit of rust to be seen.
A one-owner car here. It's
it's pretty nice. You know, it's the exterior. If you washed it up and polished it, you'd be like, well, that looks pretty good. That Pueblo gold really hits.
They knew what they were doing when they picked the gold.
Yeah, I think it's the right color even for a Ford Freestyle. That's Pueblo gold.
That is good. Yeah. Well, that's all. I would have never got there. I would have never arrived at the Ford Freestyle.
Yeah, but so you were aware of when you say Freestyle, then you're like, oh yeah, I know that model.
Yeah, because I remember seeing Zach. He had it inside the OD when we were loading stuff up this year.
Right.
Too, because I think he made a comment about like, oh yeah, my wagon, you can fit a lot in here. I'm like, well, yeah, yeah, it's a wagon. Look at it.
Big wagon guys. So I did kind of get the wagon before you did. So
damn it.
Checkmate.
Now I got to try and figure out a cooler one than this now. It's really
good
put
luck.
Me in a hole over here.
Yeah. Yeah. Enough on the Ford Freestyle for this week. Stay tuned in future weeks to come, and as we mod it out.
Right. We start our build segment.
I had a couple things that I could probably table. You did have protein bars. Do you want to talk about that this week? Or?
We can table that too. That's not time sensitive at all.
Something we absolutely cannot table is Juggernaut AI. Head over to juggernautai.app. Also, an ad within the ad. Go to our Massenomics YouTube channel. The last week's video that we posted was the gym tour with Big Chad Wesley Smith, the creator of Juggernaut AI. We did have that cool gym tour with him. We talk a little bit about Juggernaut AI in there possibly, but then also the video that's going to come out this week that'll be out by the time this podcast comes out is our Chad goes over squat tips and tricks. Well, not tricks.
Right.
He goes over
our secrets to a big squat.
Yeah, secrets to a big squat with Chad Wesley Smith, and Tommy is going through those with Chad, and I think that'll be a cool video. So check that out. Now, if you want a lot more training information than what you're going to find in our YouTube videos alone, head over to juggernautai.app. That's the training that Tommy's using it right now, running it to success. Ryan Anderson, here's a testimonial. This week, his squat, I think he's on the last week of a strength block. It was a triple squat at RPE 10. He did 425. He did 435 for a set of 3. And his max that he had on the board prior to that was 425. 425 for 1. Yeah. And he did 435 for 3.
What did he do in the meet?
He did 435 for like a single
in the meet. Okay.
And now he's hitting it for a triple.
Yeah, all right. So he's got, because squat's the one he's always struggled with the most. So he's got that figured out.
In the meet, he did I think a 540 deadlift. And then this week he did 535 for a double deadlift.
Damn.
So things are going really well for him on Juggernaut. Yeah, so if you want your training to move along, your numbers to progress that much, you to find a meet or a testing day in the future and build towards that, go to juggernautai.app, sign up with discount code Massenomics. That saves you 10% for the lifetime of the membership. It ends up being about $30 a month for honestly what you get. It's a value.
This episode is also brought to you by Barefoot Shoes. Right now on Barefoot Shoes, they have a very wide variety of barefoot footwear available. Tanner has just picked up the new pair of the Ursus Gen 2s. The reviews are in, and he is loving it over there. That's one of the newer options. Also, they have the classics like your Ursus low tops, which We both have been rocking a lot lately. The suede option with the gum sole. The canvas option. They also have Ursus high tops. They got Bruin boots for when we're blowing snow out here, walking through those drifts, trying to stay warm. And they also have a Patriot boot. Or am I getting the name wrong there?
Oh, that's right, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry, the Bruin Patriot, not the Patriot boot. If you want a Made in America option, they do have that as well. On top
fits in with our title topic.
Actually, it fits right in there. And then besides that, they even have options for kids. They got some all-weather shoes. They got socks. They got all the good stuff. So heading over to barefoot.store, use code Massenomics, and you can save 10% on your next order. Barefoot.store, code Massenomics, save you 10%. Thank you, Barefoot Shoes.
All right. Well, I think next week we're going to talk about protein bars.
Are you allowed? Do you have Nehab in here? And I'm very curious. Are you allowed to say anything there, or will we wait until next week on that?
I'll probably talk too long about that.
Okay.
So
all right,
I'll give you the cliff notes afterwards. And
okay.
Then,
Okay. Yeah, I'm very curious.
Because here's a teaser. I've been very haven't given any away details on my Nehab. It's been a very, very rocky road as of late.
Mm-hmm.
And next week we'll dive into it a little more if we have time, and can tell you where I'm at with the latest update.
Okay.
So that'll be that's a teaser. We'll call that a teaser. I will say the Chat GPT thing just to get that off the list though. As we close this out, made that people were talking about good content that we've made for Instagram this year, and one people really liked. I think we talked about the Dave Ramsey one.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone got a lot of people got a good kick.
That
Got a lot of
not
messages about that one.
That was just
not
straight up.
That was just me sitting on the toilet
Creativity.
making that. Yeah. That was not Chat GPT. The other one that got a lot of messages and stuff, like it did quite well, but just like a lot of DMs about liking it was the Massenomics podcast image generator from Chat GPT, where it's giving it additional prompts to like try and make it more like us. If you haven't seen that, check it out on our Instagram, but a lot of people liked that. It is kind of, I was just going to say it is kind of crazy. We already know, we've talked about it, but what the image generation stuff can do, where it, like sometimes like some of those, even in that case, I'm like, they're getting it pretty much right. Like, like as far as I'm concerned with
off here,
like I've maybe written like 30 sentences to them and they're essentially like have it 90% visually accurate even, which is kind of funny. People enjoyed that, but my one follow-up on that, I thought this was so odd. I made that straight up through I just went to Chat GPT on my phone. I made that. I was giving it those prompts. It was spitting out the images. I'm sure you've done it. Not everyone, but a ton of people have done that before. I thought it was very funny. The next day, it was maybe even later that day, I had another idea, and I'm like, I'm gonna have it make this image for me and maybe just test out another thing, run it through a thing. And like I say, make an image of whatever, a guy in the gym doing something. Chat GP tells me, we can't do that. I'm like, well, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And and so I literally had what I like about Chat, large language model thing, and like
can't
versus
hide too much from you,
right? And like I can actually have a conversation with it and ask questions. It's not like a search engine where I'm like, okay, I guess that's just what you give me, and then the conversation's over. There isn't a conversation, and I'm like, well, what do you mean you can't do it? You just did it. It's like, that's not within our capabilities. Check out Dolly or these other choices, and
weird.
I'm like, no. You just did it. Like the things I'm saying is the conversation I was having. No, you just did it 30 minutes ago. How can you not do it now? And then it wasn't telling me an answer that made sense. Like, and I was watching the reasoning and stuff too. And I'm just like, what is going on here? And I came to maybe eventually through some searching otherwise that, like you get so many, I was on a,
I was wondering,
free
are you on a free
version
plan? Yeah, and you only get so many basic requests.
but it wasn't telling me that, which I thought is, you know, and even like in asking it that, that's not what it was saying, and that's not how it would say it. Which even with like
which is
asking
weird,
it like 20 different times.
Yeah. Yeah, you think it would have that figured out, that like, oh, because you kind of are asking a technical support question then.
Right.
But
right.
That yeah.
But
that was my
that is
initial
what I
thought,
determined.
Because I didn't think you had a premium plan. So that was my initial
and
thought,
I don't.
is that like, oh, how is he actually? I didn't even know you could make that many images on a free plan that you did on the first one.
Well, that's why I thought it was so weird. That's why it still seems odd to me that like, because now like when then I
first place.
when I did it today, it let me make like one, and then it even told me right away. Then it's like, no, that's the max you can make now.
Yeah. And that would have been my guess. So maybe you just caught it at the right time.
But that's
always
what I'm
doing
saying.
weird, different stuff too.
That's why it was just doing something different. I'm pretty sure. But then it wouldn't like fess up to what it was, like.
Yeah, that is.
I'm not saying it wouldn't like it was hiding it, but like it wasn't telling me what I feel. Right.
Yeah, that is surprising because it feels like it would. I don't know. Sometimes it is just dumb about stuff though too.
I do like the way you can have like that. I can be like, you can like egg it on almost and be like, no, that's not what I'm asking. Like, do it like.
Right. Oh, that meme is the perfect example of that though. Of like, no, let's just like dial this in a little more here. Like, no, you're still not getting it.
yeah. That is funny. That's it. That's my notes on Chat GPT. Just continue to become more useful. Not this as a specific example, but we talk about it about other things behind the scenes, and does continue to become more and more useful tool. If you're doing anything, got your own business of any kind, and you're not using it yet for something, you should probably try it out for
even
a few things. That's my recommendation.
Tool. Yeah. Like
yes.
You don't need it to like write walls of copy for you, but even just if you have ideas, there's a good chance you can spit some of your ideas into it, and it can.
If you haven't used it before,
something.
Yeah, if you tried it once as a brainstorming tool, I'll think you'd be like, oh, wow. Okay. Yes, I do need to use this. I will be using this now.
Yes, for sure.
That's it. Anything else this week?
That's probably everything.
That was a lot of stuff.
Actually, well, and the crazy part is we still have like 1, 2, 3. We got like 4 good things on the list that we still haven't talked about yet. So
yeah, this is like the tip of the iceberg.
We're just getting started.
463 episodes in, and we're just barely getting started. We've barely only begun this podcast here.
Got a podcast so hard.
Like our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, watch all our YouTube videos.
Yeah, that's the biggest takeaway from this whole thing. I don't care what you think about American made versus foreign equipment. Watch our damn YouTube channel and subscribe, and tell everyone you know to subscribe. We need to bump those subscriber numbers up.
Yes, we're at rookie numbers. We need to at least get to sophomore.
It's actually getting to the point where our subscribe numbers don't make sense with our video numbers. We look at other people in our space.
Our view numbers are doing very well.
Mean, there's people that have 10 times the subscribers of us that times get less views than us. We're like, how are our subscribers so low?
Like, and at times, not just like individual videos, but like spanning time of like multiple videos averaged over weeks and months of time.
I will take views and watch over hours over subscribers any day, but
correct.
Our subscribers don't make sense for what we're getting for engagement on some of these videos.
Yeah. And we are like same way. We're at the tip of the iceberg right now. If you just get into Massenomics YouTube now, you're at the forefront of something big.
We're just starting to peak. We haven't even
begun our peak. I think we're still even in like
in a hypertrophy phase. Damn.
Well, we might even be in a bridge block.
Actually, yeah, we probably are closer to a bridge block.
We're towards the end of a bridge block.
Yeah, I think you're right. We're just trying things out. It's going to get pretty crazy here soon, though. So.
Yes.
Do you want to be on the ride or not?
Yeah, and I think we know that you do want to be. Also, please become a supporting member. That is the number way you can support us. Check out our drop on February 20th. A couple new tees, free Massenomics Gym button pinned to the first 50 orders in that. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Baird. Just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.